let him cook. Son, let him cook!
An amazing teacher. I love math. Thanks, Mr. Ing. Like and subscribe.
Are you so excited about math? Duke game's right here. Alright, close it out for us. Alright, what do I do, Rudy? Question. How many times is x going to x squared? Okay, so when you say once, if I do this, do I put a 1 right here? Correct. So I'm going to put the x here. Rudy, now we're going to multiply. X times x. Correct. X times negative 7. Correct. Alright, Brittany, let's go ahead and subtract. Good. (5x) is correct. Negative 2 minus negative 7. Opposite of a negative 7 is a plus, so this becomes plus 7. Negative 2 and a plus 7 is a 5x. What do I do next, Brittany? Brittany, how many times is x going to 5x? Yeah, remember if you do this little slide problem, you can do something like 5x divided by x, and you'll see that your x's cancel and you have a 5 here. Brittany, if you multiply 5 times x, and Brittany, 5 times negative 7, and Brittany, when you subtract all of these, what do you get? You get 0. Raise your hand if you got 0. That basically tells us that x minus 7 is a factor. What does that mean? There's a remainder 0. Okay. Now we're going to do something called synthetic division. Put your pencils down and watch. Dylan, watch. Alright. Instead of putting x minus 7, if I asked you a question, if I set this equal to 0, what does x equal? X equals a positive 7. Okay? Just watch. Don't write anything. X minus 7, if I set it equal to 0, you just add 7 to both sides, you get x equals 7. Okay? The next thing I'm going to do is write the coefficients. Everyone say coefficients? Coefficients are the numbers in front. What's the number in front of x squared? Coefficient here? Negative 2. And the last one is negative 35. You're just watching. It's going to go by so fast. The first thing you're going to do is something very similar to what you've done. Arrow. Multiply. Subtracting and adding are essentially the same thing. Multiply. 7 times 5 is 35. Add down and you get 0. Oh, it gets better, it gets better. Wait. Okay, now it's 1 less degree, so this does not represent x squared, it represents what? X. And this one represents the 5. And this one is the remainder. And that's your answer. So essentially x plus x minus 7, x plus 5, this equals x squared minus 2x minus 35. Okay, over here for long division. Tell me the steps. What did you do first? Okay, we divide, right? Okay, what do we do after dividing?
Subtract.
Then we do what? Multiply. Then you subtract. Subtracting is essentially adding. Just adding a negative number. Bring down, Alonzo says. And you repeat. Okay, watch this. You repeat this number. Kind of out of order. I think we're supposed to go the other way. So our steps would be what? Bring it down. Then what do you do with this one?
Bring down, multiply.
Multiply.
And then subtract that.
Add or subtract. And then we do the repeat. So pretty much the same thing, but that arrow is just in a different place, right?
I love math. You don't love math? What's wrong with you?
And now you're like, these long division problems are so long. Is there a faster way? And there is. We have synthetic division of polynomials. And I'm going to demonstrate it on the last problem we just did. We're going to do something called the zero product rule. We're going to set it equal to 0. We're going to look at the coefficients. We're going to bring down the first one, multiply diagonally. We're going to add down. We're going to repeat. And then our last one is our remainder. So let me show you guys that on this specific question. And I'm just going to do the synthetic division on this side, okay? So the first thing is this division bar. We turn it now upside down. See if I can zoom in a little bit more. And then step number 1, we're going to apply the zero product rule. What that just basically means is we're turning this factor into a 0. Partner A, remind your partner, how do you make a factor a 0? Ready, set, go. If we set it equal to 0, class, then x is equal to 3. So I'm going to write a 3 here on the outside. So we just did that one. The next thing is I'm going to do the coefficients. Everyone say coefficients?
Coefficients.
Alright, let's see if I can use this in my red pen. 1, 8, -3, -24, and 0. Look what I do on this side now. It's over 1, 8, -3, -24, and 0. So I get these numbers in synthetic division by looking at the coefficients. Okay, next step. On our list here, I don't need this one anymore. Now we need to bring down only the first term. So right here, you just put an arrow, and then you just put the number down, 1. And then what we're going to do is we're going to multiply diagonally. Put your finger on the 3 and the 1 here. Class, what's 1 times 3? 3. And we put our answer right here. So it kind of makes a V. Multiply. And then we need to add down. Class, 8 times 3? Oh, sorry. 8 plus 3? 11. Look at this. You want to see something neat? Look, look, look. Gets better, it gets better. And then it just says to repeat. Multiply. 33. Add down. 30. Multiply. Add down. Multiply. Add down. And again, you can kind of see they're all the answers right there. Now, how do I actually use these numbers? Everyone say 1 less. Instead of starting with x to the 4th, it's going to be what?
1x3.
So this will be 1x to the 3rd, and you're just going down. 11x squared. Class, what is this one going to be? 30x. So we're just going down. X third, second, first. What is this one going to be? 66. And we said in our notes that the last one is our remainder. So this is going to be plus 198 over, not x plus 3, what? X minus 3. So I actually just got the quotient using synthetic division. This here represents the quotient using long division and synthetic division. UN, we have to... UN, can you read the directions for us? Determine? Thank you. Alright, what's step number 1, UN? Okay, everyone put your finger on it. That's what we gotta do. This is gonna go way over there. Class, I'm gonna write this number and set it equal to 0. X is equal to? X is equal to? 1. Raise your hand if you got 1. Okay, we worked on that last week. That's turning a factor into a 0. Step number 2. Brandon, can you read the directions for us on your formula sheet? Coefficients. Class, what number is in front there? So 1. What goes here? Negative 3. 1. What goes next? Plus 8. Step number 3. Yelissa. Bring down the first term. So let's bring down the first term. And we're just going to write what number here, class? 1. Eric, what's the next step? Let's multiply diagonally. Class, 1 times 1?
1.
And the answer goes right here. What's the next step? Amy? Yeah, we're going to add down. Class, negative 3 plus 1? Negative 2. And then basically what we're repeating is just multiply, add, okay? Class, 1 times negative 2?
Negative 2.
Add down.
4.
Multiply.
4.
Add down.
Negative 8.
Multiply.
Negative 8.
Add down.
0.
Okay, with your partner, take 20 seconds and tell me what do we write below the arrows. Alright, there are two ways. I only showed you guys one, and I'll show you a second way. I said 1 less degree, so this is going to be what class?
1x third.
1x to the third. Now, put your finger on the remainder. This is your remainder, right? So you can also go this direction. This is your constant. Does that make sense? That's another way of thinking about it. This is your remainder. Cover it up. Well, essentially, that's just going to be plus 0 to the what? X minus 1. And this will be negative 8. Then you're adding your x's, right? 4x, negative 2x squared, 1x to the third. And that works, doesn't it? It's 1 less degree if we went this direction.
Even though it's a 0 to be so tiny.
At least you know where it comes from. And then we're going to do the second part. So this is my quotient remainder, and it says write the dividend. So my dividend is all of that. Let's write it. Is that plus 6? Super small. Oh no, I ran out of space. This is my quotient times, I ran out of space. Normally you write the divisor there, but I'll write over here. You guys like synthetic division
Yes.
better?
Yes.
But hopefully you appreciate the long. You still know how to do the long. Now you know the synthetic. Alright, let's go over this problem. It says determine each quotient using synthetic division. Write the dividend as the product of the divisor and the quotient plus the remainder. Alright, the first thing I'm going to do is that this is asking us for synthetic division. So I have the steps here just to remind ourselves. And the first thing we're going to do, it says use the zero product rule, which means you're going to set it equal to 0. I'm going to set this one equal to 0. And we're going to solve over here. 2x plus 5 equals 0. I'm going to subtract 5. I get 2x equals negative 5. And then divide by 2. I'm going to get x equals negative 5 halves. Okay? So that was step number 1, zero product rule. Okay, second thing I'm going to do is change colors here, is the coefficients. So let's use our highlighter here. And I'm going to go ahead and highlight the coefficients. 2, 21, 22, and negative 45. Let's go ahead and write those. So I have 2, 21, 22, and negative 45. Okay, and to set this up, we're going to put our divisor there, and our 0 is going to go way over here. So I have negative 5 halves. And I'm going to highlight that because it looks kind of hard to see amongst all those things. So put in red. Super important, right? Okay, what do we do next? So it tells us to, number 3, bring down the first term only. So we're going to bring this down. And we have a 2 here. Then it tells me to multiply diagonally. So we're going to multiply these two numbers and get a number here. So let's do that. Negative 5 halves times 2. Now if you've never multiplied fractions before, I recommend doing them vertically. How do you make 2 a fraction? You put it over 1. Here I can cross cancel. If you don't understand cross canceling, you'll see that when I finish the problem. So multiplying fractions, you're just multiplying across. Negative times a positive is a negative. 5 times 2 is 10, and 10 over 2. Well, what is 10 divided by 2? Well, it's 5. So your answer is, let's do it in color here, negative 5. Now if you go back to the original problem, the reason why cross-canceling works, because you can cancel factors. Why? 2 divided by 2 is 1. So canceling equals 1. And you're just left with a negative 5. So there's my negative 5. Okay? Alright, now it tells us to just add down. 21 plus negative 5, or 21 minus 5 is 16. And now I'm going to go ahead and multiply diagonally. I'm going to multiply. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Don't do that. Okay, we're going to multiply here, and this will give us this number. Okay, so negative 5 halves times 16. Let's do the same thing we did in the original problem here. I'm going to make this a fraction by putting it over 1. You can make 16 to be the factors of 2 and 8. So essentially this is what I have. And I can just cancel my factors. I can cancel the 2's there, and so I'm basically going to get negative 5 times h is negative 40, or negative 40 over 1, which we don't need to write. So negative 40 is our answer. Alright, let's erase this part. Boom. Nope. Nope. You guys laughing over there? Let's see if I can get it with that purple though. Hey. Hey. Alright. Let's just erase it by pixels. Now it looks like it's black. Great. Okay, here we go, guys. We're going to do the same thing because we got to repeat. So we're going to add down. 22 minus 40, negative 18. All right, what do we do next? Let us multiply diagonally. So negative 5 halves times negative 18. Negative 5 halves times negative 18. How do you make negative 18 a fraction? Over 1. We'll do the same thing we did above. So the factors of 18 are 2 and 9, and negative 1. There's also a negative 5 and 2 times 1. So we can cancel out 2's, and you're left with positive 45, because the negative times a negative is a positive. So we got a 45. Okay, let's take a look at that one. Guess what? We get to add down. Isn't that great? So let's go ahead and add down. So what happens if we add down? Well, you get negative 45 plus 45 is 0. This is good. This is good. This is good. Okay. So now it says the last one is the remainder. Let's make sure we know that. This is our remainder. Let's write that. Remainder. This is our remainder. Okay. Okay, so now it says write the dividend. The dividend as or equal to the product. So that would be this one here. So the dividend is what we would go on the inside, right? So the dividend, well, change colors, shouldn't do that to you. The dividend here is blue. So let's write that. 2x cubed plus 21x squared plus 22x minus 45 equals, right, the dividend as a product of the divisor. So our divisor is what we have on the outside, okay? So the divisor is this one. Divisor, which is 2x plus 5, okay? And the divisor and the quotient. And the quotient is our answer. And this is our answer. Okay. This is not we have to remember what those numbers mean. Those are the coefficients, so let's write that in the same color, 2, 16, and negative 18. And what we've basically done, if you think about this, is we've reduced it by an x. You reduce it by 1, the power of 1. So that means that this will be an x squared, and you kind of just go down. 16 is positive, so this would be an x to the first. Let me just write this for you because you'll see x to the first, and that's x to the 0. But do you guys see that red and that I just wrote kind of in the crayon pencil-ish part? You don't normally write that. You just leave it out. Okay, so that is in red. This is our quotient. Okay. 2x squared plus 16x minus 18. Okay, and then we get another color here. Then it tells us plus the remainder. So plus the remainder. Well, what was our remainder? Our remainder is 0. So it would essentially be something like this. And of course you wouldn't write that, right? So let me just box my final answer. Let's pick a nice color we haven't used yet. Aqua. So, because I don't have a remainder, this would be my answer. So basically we found the quotient using synthetic division, and we wrote the dividend as a product of the divisor and quotient plus the remainder. See you guys. Alright, so for synthetic division on the same exact problem that we just did, if you didn't finish writing those steps, they're right there on the board. I'm going to take my division bar, and I'm now going to flip it to look the other way now. And looking at your formula sheet, the very first thing we need to do is, okay, I call it the zero product rule. Now, zero product rule, more accurately, is having two factors that multiply, then you set them equal to 0, but we're just setting one of these equal to 0. So just set it equal to 0. That's it. And if you do that, I subtract 2. So last week we learned about going from factors to now we have a 0. X is equal to what number, class? Negative 2. So you're going to write a negative 2 here on the outside. Class, what's the next step? Coefficients. Okay, what are the coefficients? Let's see if I can highlight these in pink. Class, what number is in front of x to the third? So I'm going to write a 1 here. What number is there? This one? Negative 16 and negative 16. So coefficients are just the numbers in front. The next thing we're going to do is bring an arrow down only for the first one. So we just bring an arrow down, so we're going to write the number 1. Let me zoom in over here now. And the next step is to multiply diagonally. So put your fingers right here and here. This is multiplying diagonally, and then your answer is going to be like a V. Do you see this? So negative 2 times 1, negative 2. So I'm putting it in that position. And then we're going to add down. Class 1 plus negative 2, or 1 minus 2. Negative 1. Now we're going to multiply diagonally. Negative 2 times negative 1. What does that cost? And then what do you do after that? Add down. What do you get? Negative 14. What do you do here? Multiply diagonally. Negative 2 times negative 14. Positive 28. And then if you add down, you get 12. Now you might be asking, what do each of these numbers represent? Now, we said in our notes, or the steps that you did, number 7, it says last is the remainder. Put your finger on the remainder. The remainder is 12. So to figure out what 1, negative 1, and negative 14 mean, there's kind of 2 ways to figure this out. The first one is 1 less degree. Everyone say 1 less degree. What's 1 less than 3? 2. So this becomes 1x squared. And then you're just going to be descending, going down. So this is just going to be negative 1x. This one's going to be negative 14x to the 0. If I write x to the 0, that's just what number? 1. So we don't need to write x to the 0. Now, the 12, is it positive or negative? Positive. Now, do I just write plus 12? What did we do with the remainder over here? We put it over x plus 2. That we just did for long division. So this problem we just did in long division, and now I'm going to show you guys synthetic division. You're going to take the division bar and kind of flip it over, so it looks like this. Class, on your formula sheet, what's the first thing we're going to do? 0 product rule. I call it that because you just want to take this and set it equal to 0. Basically what you're doing is you're just changing a factor into a 0. So x plus 3 equals 0. And if you subtract 3, you'll get x equals negative 3. So right here on the outside for synthetic division, you're going to put in outside of negative 3. That was step number 1. Step number 2, you're going to look at the coefficients. Everyone say coefficients. The coefficients are the numbers in front. So I have a 1. I'm going to put a 1. Negative 6. I'm going to put negative 6. Negative 19. 24. And then my placeholder, 0. That was step number 2, the coefficients. The next thing is, what does it tell you to do? Let's bring down the first term only. So whatever this is, just draw an arrow here, bring it down, and you have now 1. And then these steps right here, multiply diagonally, add down, and then repeat. This is the one you repeat here in this red box. Okay? Let's do it together. Negative 3 times 1, class. Add down. Negative 6 minus 3. Negative 9. Multiply. 27. Add down. 8. Multiply. Correct. Add down. Multiply. Add down. 0. We just did bring it down, multiply diagonally. If this helps you, when you're multiplying diagonally, you're going from here to that number on the bottom, and then your answer comes up. So it's like a V. And then you do it to the next one. And put your finger on the last term, or the last number. This is your remainder. So now I'm going to draw these arrows. And basically what we're doing here is we're putting back the x's. So this is a remainder. So this is your 0 over x plus 3. And next to it is your constant. And then this one is positive, and I have to add an x. And this one is going up. So x to the 0, x to the first, this is going to be x to the second, and this next one over here is going to be x to the third. Was that way faster? Yeah, so that was synthetic division. You will be required on your quiz on Wednesday to show me both. If I say we use long division, you have to do this. If I say synthetic division, you must do this. If I say synthetic division and then you show me this, that would be incorrect. Okay? But it's super fast, follow the steps, and you'll be successful. I asked you guys to read the directions, determine each quotient using synthetic division. So we're going to do synthetic division. And then number 2, we're going to write that product statement. For question number 6, I asked you to put your finger on the placeholder. Put your finger there. It's kind of like right there. Class, what number is it missing? It's missing a 0, or a constant. That's what's missing. So the plus 0 here is my placeholder. That's the gap. That's what was missing. Alright, since this is your first example with your steps, with your partner, I want you to do the first 2 steps together. I want you to get me a 0 product rule and your coefficients. Ready, set, go. Show your partner your work. Roberta, what's the first step? Roberta, what's your first step? Roberta, where's he today?
He left.
Oh, he left. He went to the bathroom. Let's pick another student. Alan, what's the first thing we need to do? We're going to set this one equal to 0. And when you set it equal to 0, what do you get? Yep. Adeline, should I put x equals 9 here or just a 9? Just the 9 is correct. Raise your hand if you did that so far. Good job. That's the first step. Daniel, what's the next thing we need to do? Alright, can you tell me what the coefficients are?
5, negative 33, 27, 0.
Negative 33,
27,
27, and 0. Good job. Hania, what's next? Let's bring down the first one. So class, what number do I just put there? 1. Diana, what do we do next? Yep. Put your fingers on what we're multiplying, class. Class, 9 times 1? 9. Leslie L, what do we do next? I'm going to add those down. Class, 5 plus 9? 14. And we're just going to repeat, right? Put your fingers on what we're multiplying. Feel free to use your calculator. If you multiply those, what do you get? 126. And then class, what math operation do we do now? We're going to add those. Class, what do you get when you add? Positive or negative? And then we multiply those together. You're going to get some really big number. What do you get, class? 800 and what? 37. And then what do we do here? Let's add them down. I get 864. And then I'm going to get some huge number. 9 times 864 gives me 7,776. Oops. And if you add down, you get the same number. Alright, with your partner now, take 20 seconds. Tell me what goes underneath the arrows. Ready, set, go.
Okay, now that we've done our synthetic division, let's figure out what we have. So remember now, I have x to the 4th is being divided by x. And what we've done here is we've reduced the power. So now that 1 represents 1x to the 3rd. And you just count down 14x to the 2nd. So 3, 2, this will become positive 93x. This is 864. And then this one will be your remainder over the divisor, which was x minus 9. So if you had to write out, this is our quotient. There's our remainder. This is times our divisor. And then this would all equal the dividend.
I love the Smiths. I said I love the Smiths. You predicted music.